Margrethe. Tusen takk. Kjære alle, tusen takk. Fritt ord. Det er veldig rørt. Og min norsk er ikke bra lenger til å forklare hvorfor jeg er så rørt. So I'll probably have to speak a bit of English, but I don't think you in Fritt Ord quite understand what you have done. When someone believes in you, and someone takes a chance on you, and someone thinks that what you have to contribute might be worthwhile, it means a lot. You know, about 12, 13 years ago, I was sitting, not in a flat, but in a little room in Atlanta, staring at a wall. Just the wall of my life, the wall of the challenges that I faced, the wall of my own brokenness, my own disappointments, my own inadequacies, my own fears, my own feelings of not feeling good enough. And there was I'd stopped doing music. You know, some of you know me as someone who did music way back. I'd left everything and didn't know myself anymore. And the only thing that I knew is that I'd spent the first part of my life trying to fit into everybody's expectations of who somebody like me should be, what kind of boxes I should fit into. I tried everything in terms of bending and contorting myself into fit into whatever expectations people had. And I failed. Inevitably, you fail. Because maybe you have to be yourself at some point. And as I was looking at that wall, the only thing that I realized I wanted to do for the rest of my life was to try to listen to my own heart, which is something I'd never done before. I was just so busy performing, so busy trying to be good, so busy trying to fit in, to be good enough, to fulfill my father's dream, to fulfill whatever the music industry wanted, to fulfill whatever my country wanted, whatever I felt people wanted. And in that process, there was this, he died this year, was this news journalist in VG, Espen Arnold Hansen, who really annoyed me so much. He irritated me so much for most of my life. He would always find me wherever I went, and I'd get a phone call, "Hi, dette er Espen Arnold fra VG." And I always used to go, ugh. And sometimes I actually hung up on him too. He would always find me, even when I left. I didn't want to talk about why I had left, and he would find me and he's like, "Ja, men du må jo snakke." Så nei, jeg må ikke snakke. Takk. And he had found me in Atlanta, and I told him, I said, "Look, I think I really want to do something where I can help create more understanding between people, so that people can understand what the consequences of us not understanding each other, that sometimes it can be deadly." I wanted to tell Banaz's story. I wanted to tell the story of young women from communities like mine, and what happens to them when they are let down both by their families, by their parents' communities, but also by their country and the systems of their countries. And he said, "Har du hørt om Fritt Ord?" And I was like, "No, don't know. Jeg aner ikke hva det er." Also, it's a foundation, and he said they take chances, they take risks. I was like, okay. He's like, du burde sende dem en søknad. And I was like, hva betyr det en gang? Så bare skriv hva du ønsker å gjøre, og just send it. And I did, and never written an application in my life for anything. Don't even really particularly like writing that much, find it very difficult. And I sat down and I wrote and I wrote and I wrote, and I listened to him, and I sent it to Fritt Ords. And I know you process a lot of applications, and this is what you do. You do take a lot of chances on people, but I want you to understand how much it meant to me. You know, people keep, du får så mange priser, og men er ikke det fint og sånn. It's very nice, and I'm very humbled, and I'm very, very grateful. But without the award, or the support, and the trust, you had no reason to trust me. I'd never done a film before, had no education in film, had no ambition even in film. And you dared to take a chance on me. You dared to believe in me, even when I didn't. And it's you doing what you did in 2009 that I not only stand here today, but that I have been able to do, Grete, everything that you are talking about. And all the things about möta det, you do this and do that. It wouldn't have happened. And what I've also come to realize is, with that opportunity that you gave me, you know, I then got the chance to tell people stories, to sit with people who are different than me, and sit with people who didn't have anyone who believed in them, you know? And that's why their lives turned out the way that they did. And I'm very aware of that. And I'm very, it moves me a lot. And it really makes me very sad too. Because there's no reason that we don't meet. You know, it's, whatever I have experienced, whatever I've managed to accomplish, you could not have told me that that was what was going to happen to me and happen for me. But somebody just being there for you when you're at your most broken and when you're at your most lost, it means so much. And, you know, for somebody like Banaz, you know, she just wanted to live her life. She just wanted to breathe. She just wanted to live. She just wanted to be. And she was not given that opportunity. Nobody listened to her. Nobody was there for her. Nobody believed that what she had to offer was worthwhile, that it would be meaningful to anybody. And so she's no longer here. And in the films that I've done subsequent to that, whether it's the jihadis, or it's the white supremacists, or the militia guys, or the anti-abortion extremists, or any of those people, their lives are what they are because people constantly ask me about radicalization. You know, what do you think is the difference? Well, you know, why do you think it happens? Why do you think some people go for it and other people don't? You know, there's lots of, for example, the jihadis, you know, there's lots of Muslims. Being Muslim is not the only qualifier to be a terrorist, so what else is it? And I sat with the jihadis and the former jihadis as well, and I remember talking to them, and I had a lot of baggage against them and a lot of kind of opinions against them and about them. And I remember sitting them once I started listening to their actual stories and their life experiences and what life had done to them. I remember sitting there going, oh, me too. Yeah, me too. I feel like that too. Yeah, I had that too. Wow, me too. And the only point where we separated from each other was how I chose to cope with it and deal with it, and how they chose to deal with their pain. I chose to pick up a camera, and they chose to pick up a gun, is what I always say. And the thing that has always nagged me and bothered me is, why is that? Why do I make that choice and those guys made that choice? Why is that? What's the difference? What separates us if many of our feelings, our angst, our anger, all of that, our darkness, our pain is similar? What is it? And the only thing that I arrive at is it's about who shows up, who is there for you when you most need someone there in your life. And for them, it's been a recruiter and somebody who wished them not very well and who wanted to exploit and politicize and turn into violence their life and their suffering. And for me, it's been you, Fritt Ords, and it's been other people that are sitting in here, whether it's Marita, whether it's Kjell, whether it's William, very many other people, Afi. So it's that, it's how we meet each other, it's who's there for us when we need it. when we really, really need it. So you made that possible. And you know, when you're talking about the white supremacist film, Jeff is his name. I mean, several of the guys ended up leaving. But Jeff is he's the leader of one of the oldest white supremacist organizations in America. And I could feel it even as we were filming, that he's not going to make it. There's no way he's going to last in this for too long. And I actually even said it to him. Him and I kind of had it out the morning after Charlottesville. And I remember saying to him, "You're better than this. Why are you doing this? You're a good guy. I know you're a good guy. I know you are in terrible company right now, but I know you're a good guy. And this is not you. You're better than this." And he didn't say anything. His just jaw was on the floor. And then he called me 2 years after that. 2 years it took. And he said, "Look, I can't take it anymore. I'm leaving. I can't take this anymore." And he said, "But I don't know what to do." And he said, "So you're the only person I know to call." You know, so it matters that we be there for each other. And, you know, for me, the process of making the films that I've had the great privilege of making is, I think some of the biggest lessons I've learned is this, that I keep saying, is it matters that we show up for each other. But I think, you know, in a time that is becoming, in a moment in our societies that it's becoming so polarized, I think it's so important that we reach across our differences, whatever those differences are, whether they're ideological, whether they're personal, whether they're political, whatever they are. I think we have to overcome those. We have to not necessarily overcome those differences. There's nothing inherently wrong or a problem with differences. We just don't know how to manage differences. We don't know how to deal with differences. But what I think we're sorely and desperately missing is the willingness to engage across those differences. And I think we are not willing to listen to each other. We're not willing to listen to people who are different from us. And when I say different, it's not just a matter of a visible difference. It's also a matter of an emotional difference. And I think because we are unwilling to do that, we have the polarization that we have. And to me, the antidote to the polarization that we have and the rising, and this polarization is just going to become deeper and worse. And the distance between people is just going to grow. It's not going to shorten. And I think the only way to bridge it is through understanding and through the willingness to engage and through the willingness to listen. Now, listening and empathizing with people does not mean that you have sympathy for their views. You know, I obviously do not agree with the jihadis or with the white supremacists or with the anti-abortion terrorists. But it's possible for me, the reason I make the films and the sort of the common thread to all the films that I make is a sort of, well, first of all, there's a desperate curiosity. There's sort of an obsessive curiosity that I have. I like people. But I want to understand why people do the things that they do, not just what they do. What they do is sort of the most boring part. It's what leads people's life experiences to that point in their life, to those choices and those behaviors. But I think when we don't listen, we are missing the opportunity to bring other solutions, other viewpoints, other talents, other potential to the table. And I sincerely think that we can't afford to waste anybody. I could have been wasted. You know, if you guys wouldn't have been there, I would have been wasted. I would have just gone off, and I don't know what I would have done, but I wouldn't have had the opportunity to blossom and to grow and evolve in the way that I have. But at a societal level, we need to think about the same thing, is we have to give people the opportunity to bring their full selves to the table. And I think one of the things that I sort of struggle with a lot is we have this need to be right and self-righteous right now, rather than to understand each other. And I think understanding, to be understood, is what belonging means. I think that is what inclusion means. I think that is all the words that we all value so much. I think that's what all of it means, is to understand somebody, not agree with somebody, but understand their point of view, understand their pain, understand their humanness. And that's the point of the films that I make. It's to look into the darkness of some of the most complicated, some of the most divisive issues of our time, but to find the humanity in it, to recognize ourselves in each other, whoever the other is. And I think what sort of I've ended with is, somebody said to me the other day, they were like, oh, you know, why do you keep sitting with these horrible guys? What's wrong with you? Why do you keep doing it? You know, why are you trying to rescue their humanity? And my point is, I'm not, that's sort of misunderstanding what I'm trying to do. I'm not trying to rescue them or their humanity. What I'm trying to do is to hold on to my own. And what I mean by that is we have to decide who we want to be as individuals and who we want to be as a society. Do we want to extend our values and our rights and our opinions that we appreciate only to those people that we agree with and that are like us and that we agree with, or to everybody? And to me, I believe in human rights. I believe in freedom of expression. I believe in dignity. I believe in compassion. I have sort of this laundry list of values that are really important to me as an individual. But what's also important to me, what I've learned to practice through the films that I make, what the films and the Nazis and the jihadis, what they have taught me is my values mean nothing if I only want to extend it to all of you, because I like you. And because most of us probably agree on many core issues. My values only matter when I'm willing to extend it to people I don't like, to people I don't agree with, in fact, to people I dislike. I think that's the key. And I think if we don't do that, then the gaps between us will deepen, the misunderstandings and the polarization and the dehumanizing of ourselves and each other will continue. And I am not prepared to do that. I'm not prepared to stand for that. I'm not prepared to practice that. I realize that a lot of our politics often tends to head in that direction, but I'm not willing to contribute to that. So the only way we can disrupt that is through more humanness, to bring ourselves to the table and to be that for someone in whatever small or meaningful way that you have been for me. To believe, to choose the better in people, to choose the better instincts and better capacities that people have. It means something. People usually rise to that occasion. If you choose people's talent and their potential and the positive instincts that they have, they do rise to that. That's at least been my experience. So I mean, I can talk forever, I should not. But I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. And I've not felt like this in a really long time. And I'm so moved. It means so much to me. And part of, because I know what it means for someone to take a chance on you, to believe in you. Part of this award, I am also going to contribute towards the crisis that has started in August in Afghanistan. There is, and what's happening to women in Afghanistan. And there is one particular woman at the moment that she's actually a filmmaker, and she's got 2 children, and she's desperately looking for a safe house. So this part of this award is going to go towards making her safe and to giving her the chance that you've given me. So thank you.